book review, though.
Yeah, you showed it to me at the beginning.
Yeah. It is High School Musical, Tales from East High, number 3, Poetry in Motion.
It's sort of depressing that you're only on book 3.
I know, when I was looking back at my Goodreads account, book 2 was reviewed last April. It was a big old gap.
Wait.
House of Leaves is a big part of that.
That's fair. Yeah, I can't really complain about that because I did the same thing.
Yeah. So do you want to give our listeners the background to why I'm reading these High School Musical books, if we've got any new listeners?
Isn't the backstory literally just that I was trying to get you something for your birthday a couple of years ago, and I happened to be at a jumble sale? No, I found them online. I bought those ones. Those ones were maybe secondhand, but I bought them online. And I just got Liam the first 5? First 4. I bought Liam the first 4 books from a High School Musical series of books that were made however long ago. Because they were going to be shit. That was the whole point. They were just going to be shit. It was a shit present.
Yeah.
And then recently I went to a jumble sale and found a bunch more of the books.
Yeah, thanks for that. So special editions as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. So Liam's just been sort of over a period of over a year working his way through them.
Yeah. And they're not like, they're not particularly complicated.
I believe
reads.
book one was shit.
Book 1 was Battle of the Bands, and
you didn't like it. There wasn't enough original music in the book.
There was not.
Listeners, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm leaning into the mic and putting like a face like, yeah, it's a book.
Yeah.
Book 2,
Book 2 was called Wildcat Spirit, and it annoyed me.
Yeah, okay.
Because Gabriella is just the worst in it. Because basically, the story of book 2, right? And just for any listeners, this part of the show is normally spoiler free. With these books, I do spoilers. Just prepare yourself for that.
Yeah.
If
any of you out there are actually trying to read these books and get spoiled, just shut up about it. We don't care.
Yeah. In book 2, so basically it's Spirit Week at East High, but Gabriella overheard her mum talking about potentially moving again. And
that's right.
Instead of just talking to her mum about it, she spends the whole book moping, and then at the end you find out she misheard, and her mum's just visiting. Yeah, she's not actually moving.
Like, Gabriella, why have you been so sad for 4 weeks?
Talk to your mum about
it. We're moving away, and her mum was like, "No, we're not, Gabriella.
Yeah.
Go back to school."
Yeah, ridiculous. So I think both book 1 and 2 got low scores. Like it was like 1 or 1.5 out of 5, right?
And surely, Liam, book 3 follows that trend. Surely.
Here's the thing.
Yeah?
I actually quite liked book 3.
The thing I'm interested in here is whether book 3 is actually better, or if you hated House of Leaves so much anything would have been good.
No, I think it is better. So here's the other thing, right? Book 1 was written by N.B. Grace, and one of the issues I had was the characters didn't feel like they spoke authentically. Like they didn't feel like the characters from the film that I love.
No one loved.
Then book 2 was by Catherine Hapker, and again, similar issue. And Gabriella is a bit mopey in the films, but in the book, it's just amped up way too much, and it's ridiculous. Like if this was in the film, Gabriella would have a little solo song where she'd sing about it, and then she'd get over it. You wouldn't drag it out for an entire film. Oh, that'd be insufferable. Book 3 is written by Alice Alfonsi, and I think out of all of the authors so far, she is closest to nailing their tone. Also, Kelsey gets a little bit to do in book 3, which I like.
Good, she deserves it.
And Martha does as well. Martha actually gets maybe one of my favourite bits. Martha.
Who is Martha?
She's the one that loves homework, but also she loves to pop and lock. She loves hip hop.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know her.
Yeah. I think the other thing that really helped with book 3 is there is music in it.
How?
It's called Poetry in Motion. The basic premise...
well, very quickly, is there music in it, or is there poetry in it?
Well, there's poetry, but it's musical.
It's poetry, Liam.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Alright, the basic premise for book 3 is their English teacher has given them an assignment. They need to write an original poem, and they need to perform it in front of the school, and someone is coming to judge. And
I'd honestly hate to go to whatever East
High.
East High.
Yeah.
Add an extra word. I'd hate to go there. Can you imagine? Just some random fucking class in your school is doing a poetry competition, and for some reason you have to go and watch it.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
Ugh, I hate it.
I love it. Yeah, and then someone is going to be judging these as well. Now, here's the problem.
Is it a surprise? Is it someone that we know?
No, it's not. It's an original character.
Oh, okay.
Here's the problem. When Chad was younger, he had to do some performance of some sort. It might even be poetry in front of the school, and his trousers split, and he's mortified, and he has horrible flashbacks, and he is just adamant that he's not going to do this. Here's the problem with that. If he does it, he's going to flunk the class. Here's the problem with that. If he flunks the class, he can't play basketball.
I hate it so much already.
Why?
He plays basketball in front of all these people.
Yeah, but
I've seen the films.
It's different playing basketball and reciting poetry.
Why doesn't he just wear basketball shorts? Is that the fucking solution? Is that what they do?
So,
and Liam, I swear to fuck, if the solution to this problem is that Chad wears basketball shorts to do this, I'm going to be so annoyed.
The solution is amazing, but before we get there, my only criticism about this book is Sharpay's inclusion feels like a little bit forced. Like they were like, oh, well, we need to put Sharpay in. Sharpay is just terrible at writing poetry.
Oh.
What a surprise.
So she sung Huna Nuka Nuka Apple Art.
Yeah, she did.
It's one of my favourite songs.
She did, but she didn't necessarily write it, did she?
Oh, how dare you?
So what Sharpay does is she enlists Kelsey to help her, and they do.
She cheats.
No. They do like a joint poem, like the two of
you're
them
allowed
together.
To join.
Yep, you're allowed to do that.
Well, Chad can just do that. Chad needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the poetry teacher thought it was a great idea to have them team up.
School has no standards.
So I am going to really spoil this by reading out the final poems as well.
Please do. All of them?
Yeah, why not?
How many are there?
There's only a few. So, I've got to read it. I can't wait. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So I'm going to give you the setup as well. So Miss Barrington is the teacher. Miss Barrington motioned to the wings for Sharpay and Kelsey to step out. And now for our first Venga, which is what you call when it's like a group.
Right, cool.
Announced the teacher. Here are Sharpay Evans and Kelsey Nielsen with their poem, Step by Step. Sharpay strutted out with a beaming grin, wearing a sparkly silver dress and a glittering pair of high heels.
Of course.
Kelsey followed with her head down, clearly nervous. Her outfit...
Oh, fuck off. Kelsey ain't nervous. When are these books set?
No, they're set, I think, definitely before number 3.
Oh, okay,
I think maybe even before number 2, just after number 1.
All right, fair enough. Well, Kelsey was probably nervous back then.
Yeah. So Kelsey followed with her head down, clearly nervous. At one point, I think Kelsey gets described in the book as mousy, and I did take umbrage to that on your behalf. I thought that was an unfair description.
Yeah.
Her outfit was the complete opposite of Sharpay's. Cargo pants, combat boots, and a flannel shirt.
Combat boots?
Yeah.
Did she wear combat boots in the movie?
Well, together they moved to the standing microphone. Then Sharpay gave a high kick and her voice boomed out. You can picture it. You can picture it.
Yeah, but she's wearing a sparkly dress and sparkly heels, and she did a high kick.
Yeah.
Jesus,
that's impressive.
What way was she facing?
All right, so here's Sharpay's part of the poem. Shoes, how I love them. Let me count the styles. Mules, pumps, slippers, slingbacks, leathers, and crocodiles. This is what I was saying earlier about there being so much fashion choices for women.
Just because you read this fucking book. Sorry, what a crocodile shit?
Fuck knows. I don't know.
Just leather? I don't know. Carry on.
Kelsey's quiet voice came next.
What voice?
Quiet voice.
Yeah, fair enough.
March, always steady, through rain and sleet and snow. Boots, thick, solid, sturdy. That's the soul I show. Soul spelled S-O-L-E.
This poem's getting an F.
Sharpay did a few dance moves and crooned.
Of course, it's poetry.
Heel, toe, step, ball chain, legs lighter than air, tap, jazz, ballet, ballroom, dance without a care.
This is a bad poem.
Kelsey spoke. Stride, every morning, through my day I move. Streets, curbs, lawns and gardens, I push, I strive, I rove. The girls continued to alternate stanzas until the very last one. Feet, always moving, Sharpay recited. But can you tell me why? The path you take is yours to make, Kelsey said. Don't let life pass you by.
No, fuck it. That's bullshit. That's lame, and I hate it.
The moment they finished, the auditorium broke out into spirited applause.
No, they didn't. One kid in the back coughed, and everyone else just sat in silence.
So, That was Sharpay's and Kelsey's poem.
It's bad, and I don't
loved
like it.
So Martha isn't in this English class, but the basketball group are just really struggling. None of them want to do it. Chad has basically talked all of them into thinking it's a terrible idea. Troy is the only one that's like, no, we have to do this because we can't all flunk.
Classic Chad.
I know, classic, right?
Doesn't he do that in what's the film where I really hate Chad because he's just, is it 3?
Or is it
where
2?
They like team. I don't know. I don't think I like him in 2, but I also think I don't like him in
2's the
3.
one where Troy becomes a bit of a dick and starts hanging out with like the college basketball players, and Chad's like,
and Chad's
oh yeah,
worried
you go
a
hang
bit.
out with your new friends.
But then doesn't Chad in 3 like don't they spy on Troy and they?
Oh no, that's in number 1.
Is it?
Yeah. Where so Chad doesn't want Troy to be in the Winter Musicale, so he sets up the camera. Yeah, I think if I went on Mastermind, my like specialist topic would have to be these films.
Yeah, I think you do really well.
Yeah, thank you. So Martha's not in the group, but she's trying to show the basketball guys how cool poetry is. And all right, genuinely, she's kind of talking to them about how like you can get like hip hop from poetry. Like rap is essentially fast poetry, right? And this is my favorite bit in the book.
I can't imagine. Now, see what you said there, Liam, is very cool, and I imagine that what they wanted to write after that was a very like actually cool poem, and like something where kids would read it and go, you know what? Poetry is kind of badass. I've got a feeling it's not going to be that.
Prepare to eat some words. Okay. There's a new character created for this book that is not in any of the films. A character called Betty Hong.
Okay.
She's with Martha at this point. I'm going to give you the setup and I'm going to go into the poem.
Yeah.
Betty Hong closed her book and leaned close. Taylor McKessie told me all about it, she whispered. Betty told Martha about next week's poetry reading assembly and how Taylor was trying to help half the starting basketball team locate their muse. Because obviously Chad doesn't want it coming out that they're doing this poetry thing, and he especially doesn't want it coming out that he's getting Taylor and Gabriella to help them with it.
Sorry, you said the whole school were going to be watching the poetry thing.
Yeah, it's assembly.
Well, yeah, so what does Chad mean? He doesn't want people to know they're doing the poetry thing. When he does the poetry, everyone will know.
He does not want people to know, though.
Chad's just oh God, I hate him so much sometimes.
That's totally fresh, Martha cried.
Oh my God, I hate it.
I'll be honest, they haven't got Martha's tone down brilliantly.
No.
Too bad I'm not in Miss Barrington's English class. Betty made a face. You like that poetry stuff? I thought you were into maths and science. I like
she's
it
also
all.
into popping and locking.
Yeah, I like it all, Martha replied. I like astronomy and hip-hop.
Oh, so cool.
Betty rolled her eyes. Not hip-hop again. Word, gal, Martha replied.
Oh my God.
You know I've been busting out kicking rhymes for years. It helps me remember lessons, like last night's astronomy lecture. No, Betty said. You didn't make up a rap to that. Just watch, Martha cried. Leaping out of her chair, she began to chant freestyle. This is the best bit of the book. At the
I want that to be written there.
At the centre
In
of
brackets.
Stop ruining this beautiful poem, Ellie. Jesus.
Sorry, go on.
At the centre of our system is the molten sun, a star that burns hot, Fahrenheit 2,000,000,001. But the sun, he ain't alone in the heavenly sphere. He's got 9 homies in orbit, some far, some near. Old Mercury's crowding in about as close as he can. Yo,
Yeah.
Merc's a tiny planet who loves a tan. Some kids around Martha heard her rap. They've really got into it, jumping up from their tables to clap and dance. Now,
Clap and dance.
You've seen the films, you could see people doing this. The beat was contagious. Martha started busting some moves herself. She kept the rap flowing, and more kids joined the party. Venus is next. She's a real hot planet, shrouded by clouds, hot enough to melt granite. Earth is the 3rd planet from the sun, just enough light and heat to make living fun. Then comes Mars, a planet funky and red, covered with sand. The place is pretty dead. Jupiter's huge, the largest planet of all. Saturn's big too, but Uranus is small. So far away, the place is almost forgotten. Neptune's view of Earth is pretty rotten. And last but not least, Pluto's in a fog, far away and named after Mickey's home dog. Yo, that's all the planets orbiting our sun, but the Milky Way galaxy is far from done.
Oh, fuck me, is there more?
No, when Martha finished her freestyle hip-hop flow, the entire cafeteria burst into wild applause.
No, they didn't. Again. No one made any noise. No one was dancing and clapping, and one kid in the back coughed quietly. Now, I have a few issues with that, Liam. The sun isn't molten. It's plasma.
Okay.
My other issues are that she says she based that entire rap on a whole astronomy lesson.
Well,
Was the lesson literally just a teacher going, right, here's the solar system, Mercury's pretty close to the sun, Venus has got clouds and it's hot, Earth is our planet, Mars is all lonely and dead, Jupiter's big, Saturn's big too, Uranus is smaller, Pluto's far away. Is that what he said? Because that's shit.
Oh, I think, she said, she made this rap as a way of remembering the lecture. So I feel like she didn't write down what he said, like...
Well, that's not great, because she's going to be sitting in exams, and they're going to be like, oh, how far away is Neptune from the sun? And she'll go, pretty far away.
Yeah. You say that right, but, okay, I don't know a lot about American history, but thanks to Hamilton, I can tell you a fair amount about Alexander Hamilton, so I feel like it does work.
Alexander Hamilton was pretty old. Aaron Burr was pretty old. Everyone had a duel. The end. That's the equivalent, Liam. That's what she wrote. It's just planets are small, some of them are big, a couple
Yeah,
are
but
close.
she said which ones were which. I couldn't tell you which planets were big and which were small.
Yes, you could.
I could tell you some of them.
Yeah, because you know the rap.
Yeah, exactly. I've learnt it. Okay, so all this is going on. I bet you're wondering to yourself, what's happening
really
with Gabriella and Troy right now?
I'm wondering to myself, when's this going to end?
This might be one of our longest reviews yet, and I'm sorry, but also I'm not. The thing is, if you're going to make me read these books, which you are, I'm then going to make you listen to me.
I'm just buying them for you. I'm not demanding you read them.
Yeah, but I will. I'm going to make you listen to me review them in detail. So, Gabriella and Troy's story that's going on in this book. Obviously, Troy is very concerned that the basketball team don't want to do this, and he doesn't want them all to flunk and get kicked off the basketball team. He has enlisted Gabriella's help to help them write poetry. Gabriella has also enlisted Taylor's help. No.
Okay.
So they all go over to Gabriella's house. Nope. Not at all. Just for anyone that is listening, Ellie is making crude gestures on video.
I'm not.
This is High School Musical.
Slander.
It's pure. So they've all gone over to Gabriella's house. Troy has already started writing a poem. He accidentally leaves his poetry book at Gabriella's house.
Oh no!
And she shouldn't look at it. She shouldn't.
Which you can. It's poetry.
She does.
It's not a diary.
She does.
Yeah, fine. It's fine. He's going to read it in front of the whole school.
The poem is called Ariel by Troy Bolton.
Arial.
No, Ariel.
Oh, that's a name, isn't it?
Like the mermaid.
Please tell me it's a poem about the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, no. I'm going to read you the poem. This isn't the poem he performs at the end, FYI.
Gabrielle.
No. Alright, there we go.
Oh, I'm so upset.
When we're together, my pulse races, and I love to visit our favourite places. Higher and higher, we soar as one. Nothing on earth will stop our fun. When I'm down or lonely, I roll with you and smile. You take me to the limit, you lift me, Ariel style. Right, so here's the thing.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah?
Did Troy just misspell Ariel?
No. Here's the thing. Remember how
I spelling Ariel wrong?
Ariel, right? Let me just explain. You know how in the last book I said the issue is Gabriella jumps this assumption and spends the whole book thinking that assumption?
Yeah, it's the exact same thing because it's going to turn out he's talking about basketball.
No, he's not.
Or his dog? His mum?
No. So here's the thing.
Sister.
She definitely does misunderstand. She thinks he's talking about this other girl called Ariel, and then she's like seething at him, and he doesn't know what he's done wrong because she just is not confronting her problems. It's a recurring issue with these books. She needs to learn this lesson. Please feel free to keep on guessing what Ariel actually is about.
Well, it's not. You said it's not basketball.
Nope.
It's not. Is it a part of his family?
Nope.
Oh, is it her?
Nope.
Oh, I don't know then.
Ariel is the name of Troy's skateboard. Oh dear.
I fucking hate this so much.
Do you?
Hate it. Yeah.
Do you really? So,
I do.
Gabriella has been stewing on this.
I mean, to be fair to her, that poem does not sound like it's about a skateboard.
She initially was going to write a lovely poem about Troy, but then this happened.
Oh, did she do a diss track?
Her poem. Okay. Right. So they do also tie back into the... in the first film, she sort of had stage fright.
Yeah, I remember that.
They sort of tie that back into it. Again, I'm going to give you like a load of pre-ramble before we get to the actual poem.
Wonderful.
You're welcome. And now we have our next poet. Miss Barrington glanced at Gabriella in the wings and nodded. Gabriella Montez. Gabriella swallowed nervously. She wiped a wet palm on her green velvet skirt and forced herself to stop gripping her notebook page so tightly.
Wet.
Yeah.
I've never described a sweaty palm as wet.
As she walked toward the standing microphone, a bright white spotlight nearly blinded her. She could only make out the first 3 rows of seats, but she'd seen the assembly hall before the house lights were lowered, and she knew the place was packed.
Sorry, I know you don't like me interrupting, but that is literally just the scene from High School Musical 1.
Yes. Don't think about that. Think about something else, she quietly told herself. But what?
I am.
For a moment she closed her eyes. That's when she knew what to do. Just pretend you're reading the poem to one person, she told herself. Just pretend you're reading to Troy. She cleared her throat and began with the title. Honesty, she announced.
She needs to just shut up and go. This is stupid. I hate it so much.
Her slightly shaky voice echoed through the dark assembly hall. The single word and the long silence after it made the students in the audience sit up a little straighter in their seats.
No, they didn't.
Then
None
Gabriella,
of them were paying attention to the poetry.
Then Gabriella began to recite. Now, let me just bear in mind, okay? 1, Troy doesn't know that Gabriella has read his poem about Ariel.
Troy's just going to be sitting there going, what the fuck is this poem about? I just want to talk about my skateboard.
Yeah, Troy doesn't know that Gabriella is absolutely seething with him. So just imagine hearing this poem, but from Troy's perspective, okay?
I'm getting myself in the mindset. I've just written a poem about my skateboard. I'm so proud of my skateboard poem.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
I see you there in front of me. Your face, your hands, your eyes. I hear you talk. I hear you tell. Your hopes, your dreams, your lies. I walked with you a sunlit trail, together hand in hand. Then twilight came, and you were gone, and now alone I stand. The woods are cold, the trees are black, the dark is closing in, and you have gone away from me, your faultless light has dimmed. Betrayal is an empty space, raw night, cold room, alone, and no one can redeem your face. Sweet night, safe light, you're gone.
Chad. Who's she talking about? Chad, you got to help, mate. I think she's mad at me, and I don't know why. Because I'm just so excited to do my skateboard poem. I don't know why she's so angry at me.
I love it. This book was so good. Okay. It's
so
so good. You have to understand how terrible the first 2 books were.
I mean, I will admit this sounds better than the other 2.
It really does. So, here's the thing. Troy didn't read Ariel in front of the school because he worked with the basketball team. They did a Venga, which is a group poem, as we discussed earlier.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. So after... So they perform...
Yeah, are they going after Gabriella?
No, they go after Sharpay and Kelsey.
Oh, okay.
So when Gabriella, then Sharpay and Kelsey, now it's the basketball team. Okay. And now for our final poem, we have another collaborative effort. Here are Troy Bolton, Chad Danforth, Zeke Baylor, and Jason Cross to perform Poetry in Motion. Now, let me just explain to you one thing before I get into this. Oh my God,
they're going to pretend to play basketball on the stage and do poetry.
Not pretend. Why I love this is because it is so High School Musical. Like, I can read this and picture this happening in a film. It's brilliant. It's just like, it is such an on-point solution to this problem. So, the boys came out as a team, dressed in their Wildcats uniforms, using
he's wearing the bloody basketball shorts, so he doesn't split his pants.
Using tightly coordinated basketball moves, they passed the ball as they moved across the stage. Then Troy began to dribble the ball, keeping a steady beat. He bounced the ball lower and lower, the other boys bending low with him. Finally, they began to recite, On the ground, we are bound, we are lower than down. But the sound of the ball, bouncing small, growing tall, as they recited, they lifted themselves up higher and higher until they were standing straight again. Help us move to a groove, and a beat we approve. Before long, we're bouncing up higher than the sky. Before long, we're soaring, defying gravity. Troy passed the ball to Jason Cross, who kept dribbling with a steady beat and began to recite solo. In school and at home, I'm just a nice guy. But on the court, look out, I'll make you cry. I'll slip and slide, I'll ice you out. No, you can't touch me, that's without a doubt. Slip move, duck right, lay up, rebound. On the court, my feet don't touch the ground. Jason passed the ball to Zeke. Then Zeke began to dribble and recite. Cooking's my thing, in the kitchen or court. Laugh if you want, 'cause I'm a good sport. Don't mess with me when I got the ball, 'cause you'll be heading for a mighty fall. Fiery hot, no one can stand my heat. When I'm in the game, all others look beat. Zeke shot the ball to Chad, who immediately began to dribble and rhyme.
Please say his shorts rip.
In homeroom and in class, yeah, all around, everyone knows me as the high school clown. Sure, I like a good joke of any sort, but my clowning ends when I'm on the court. There it's all business, and I'm something more. Ain't no one better when I want to score. With a broad smile, Chad confidently passed the ball to Troy. This is going great, Troy thought, and we're almost home. I'm captain of the team, and it's intense. Before the game, I want to hop the fence. Then the whistle blows, and I'm in the game. That single sound melts down my doubt and shame. The change complete, I'm king of every court. Me and my team, we never come up short. Next, Troy passed the ball around to all his friends, from Jason to Zeke to Chad, and back to Troy again.
Right, well, Troy didn't pass the ball around to all his friends. Troy passed it to one of his friends, and then they passed it on. He didn't pass the ball simultaneously to all his friends.
Then all the boys began to chant. On the ground, we are bound. We are lower than down. Come on, join in, Ellie. You know how it goes.
No, I fucking hate it.
Before long, we're bouncing up higher than the sky.
We're soaring.
Before long, we're soaring,
Flying.
defying gravity. Through the air, not one care. Yeah, this feeling is rare. Through the air, not one care. Yeah, this feeling is rare. Through the air,
Oh my
not
god,
one care.
Too many rhymes at the end.
By the middle of Poetry in Motion, all the students in the auditorium were on their feet, clapping to the poem's driving rhythm.
No, they weren't.
By the end, the place went crazy. The kids were hooting, hollering, cheering and clapping.
No, it didn't. No one was paying attention.
Now, if
The best bit about that poem was Troy thinking, I've not got a care. When they said, we haven't got a care in the world. Oh, you're about to, Troy, trust me. You twit.
Now, I know if you're listening and you're like, oh shit, I really wanted to read that book. I'm not going to ruin everything. I'm not going to tell you who won the poetry contest. And there is a poem I haven't read. Taylor has a poem in the book. I'm not going to read that because it's not great, in my humble opinion. Poetry in Motion. I actually quite enjoyed it. 3 out of 5.
The whole thing is, I hate it.
Why?
It's just all bad.
But there was music.
There wasn't. There was poetry.
Yeah, but also the basketball one was done to a beat of a ball bouncing, and that is brilliant.
Yeah, that's pretentious, and I hate it. Honestly, can you imagine, right? Any other school? Because there's a league. We know there is a league of these schools playing basketball against each other.
Yeah.
Can you imagine coming to play against East High and just being like, "Great, who are we playing this week? Oh, it's like I want to see the film where like the tough kids come to play East High and like Troy and Chad are just like, we're gonna do real good, guys. Let's be a team." And then like just some kid just pounds Troy onto the floor and he's like, "Get the fuck up."
Yeah, and then Troy would get his head in the game and they'd win.
No, Troy would get his head in the game and then the kid would just punch him in the head and he'd go down to the floor again.
No, then that kid would surely get
and then Gabriella would go, "Troy!"
She would. And everything
That's
would just
my
stop.
favourite bit of that song.
Oh, it's great. It's great, isn't it? That's in High School Musical 3.
Yeah, it's my favourite bit of that film. It might not be. I just like that bit a lot.
Yeah. Poetry in Motion. I actually quite enjoyed it. I
haven't read it, but I'm giving it 1 out of 5.
I mean, I feel like I've read you enough of that book that you can fairly review
I've got the gist.
I think in future, when I read more of these books, I'm going to deep dive into them because, honestly, that's what you want and that's what the listeners want.
It's not. I think that was about 20 minutes of you reviewing Third High School.
At least.
A culture swap.
Yeah, at least 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Worth it. And honestly,
Sorry,
I think our listeners will write in and say, brilliant, more please.